but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties, sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Coy with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it up.
Happy Friday to everybody. Lola and I are in the studio, and we're thinking about, with our hearts and minds, prayers, the people of Uvalde, Texas. We are mourning and grieving with them. This is a really difficult time for me because I joined the 50 Club on Wednesday.
Happy birthday!
Thank you, Lola.
Happy birthday to you. Okay, I won't.
Oh, you should. But so it's difficult. Last year, I don't know why these things happen around my birthday. Look at me trying to personalize it and make it be all about me. George Floyd was assassinated on my birthday. And while I was celebrating another year of life, George Floyd was taking his last breath. Here I am looking at being 50 and kind of on some nanny boo-boo type stuff, because I actually am living in a pandemic, living in the era of COVID, but I have the ability to celebrate my 50th, as so many of my friends were not able to do, in a way that I choose, right? The countries are back open with certain stipulations, and people are gathering and getting together, feeling false security from vaccinations. I didn't say that out loud. And so here I am, Lola. I'm thinking about turning 50, and people can't even get them some cabbage and black-eyed peas for Sunday dinner. They're murdered in the grocery store. And before we can rationalize that, Uvalde with babies. I mean, these are babies. I mean, I'm not saying the people in the grocery store didn't, like, it's okay because they were adults. I'm just simply saying
they didn't have these kids didn't even get to really live life. I mean,
no.
In any kind of way.
No, not at all.
They weren't even upper elementary.
No, right. These kids didn't even get ready to sixth grade, you know.
Their parents won't be able to do all the things they were looking forward to, going to their sixth grade graduation, junior high graduation,
right,
high school,
college, right.
Prom. None of the experiences that I think, and I'll speak for myself, that many of us have taken for granted, these parents don't even get to experience. And not only that, they had to go home and tell their siblings,
right,
that their
right.
sister and their brother are no longer with us because a man, I'm going to say it like this, was having a bad day.
That's exactly what it was.
You have a bad day, and he took it out on somebody. And I'm going to say this. Your bad days should not be other people's burdens to bear.
That's right.
Especially for a lifetime.
For a lifetime. Now, that's the word right there, for a lifetime. Because, I say this all the time. You have a right to do whatever it is you want to do, except for take or make a victim along the way. Mm-hmm. And I usually say that in dating. But now you got, and this is what I want people to stop doing. Stop using bullying. It's a cop-out. Mm-hmm. Tell your child, pop the one that's talking the most dead in the mouth. With all the fear and anxiety they have, pop that one that's doing all that loud mouth talking, pop that one in the mouth. Let me tell you what the mother one's going to do. Nothing.
Right.
Tell your children to pick up whatever is around them, a book bag, a book, an iPhone. You just replace the iPhone. Hit them across their head if your child is being bullied. At some point, fight back and we'll deal with the school later. Teach your children when they say something about your tennis shoes, teach them to say, and I'm going to tell you this is universal and it works. It don't matter. Shut it all down every time. This is me giving this to you. This game right here should be sold, but now it's going to be told. This is what you say when someone is bothering you. Yo mama. It works. Yeah. It works every time. Yo mama.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you're a little boy and they coming after you, let me tell you what else you can say. Just add, just 2 more words to it. Yo mama like it. Yeah. Let me tell you what that does. It stuns them. And you really can't come back from your mama.
Yeah.
You can't.
Either they don't have a mama or they know that is their mama.
And when they say, now let me tell you what happened mess you up. When they say, my mama has passed. Your grandmama. You can fight back with words. He was bullied, so he kills his grandmother because she was annoying him because she was on the phone with AT&T. That's what the news people said. One of the engineers here in Austin, he said that's crazy. He made the statement too, that they report that the boy was very agitated because his grandmother was on the phone with AT&T. Well, if that's how you get killed, I should have been up out of here a long time ago. I stay on the phone with AT&T and Spectrum because they suck. But, I know, and my kid's laughing because, sometimes you get the crazy people and it will make you, break character. I just cannot, I can't wrap my mind around someone becoming so hostile that they not only kill. I mean, who gets mad at their grandmother? Now you get mad at your mama all the time, but your grandmama. I mean, and your grandmama can kind of get on your nerves. Now, but that's your grandmama. So we got a lot of issues that we're dealing with, not just guns in America, because that's a big one, but we are dealing with the psychoses of our children. They are unhinged. We've got a man, 18 years old, that ran in a grocery store and was charged with 1 count of murder and killed, almost 24 people. I won't say dozens, but, we got, I don't understand what we're doing in America, but I'm going to tell you what they've done in 2 other countries, and America is well aware of it. This is Corey with the Black Tea Sip. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. The truth of the matter is we have some real issues, but I want to unpack historically why we're where we are in a minute.
Nourished skin is healthy skin. Simply Ardor skincare products provides luxurious nourishment for your body. Indulge in rich scrubs and body butters and top it off with our sensational and unique aromatic lines of sprays and roll-on fragrances. It's simple and lovely. Simply Ardor. Love is real. Just spread it.
Over a year ago, we gave you the marquee. Booth of Vandross and his bros and queens. Abundantly satisfying, we did more than please. Made you party a bit and put your mind at ease. And then we spoke on everything else in between. We ain't come for the shine, but we left with the rated highly approved. Put you back in the mood. Gave it to DJs who put the needle to the groove. All star, all minus, all par. Booth of V, Sin Q, and we are loose cannons, no comparisons by far. We do what we do when we are who we are. Dope music, high jump, raise the bar. So soothing, we do what they are. The vision would seem like Stevie and Ray Charles. In the hazy room, fat sacks and fat gauze. Yeah.
Back to back, nice partying. Only stop to pray and then we start again. Just live today and let the rest go. We already know the way, baby, let's roll. And get back to the groove, back to the basics, back in the mood. Back to the music, back to the truth, back to the proof. I'll be watching over you, coming back, things Big dreams, I'm still big, and it's the big time. Bright lights in the big city, big ego. Pockets getting bigger, big Nino. Big under pressure, hit some pretty big free throws. I've been cold, started a fire, still froze. I am someone you should admire. The eye of the tiger. From now on, address me as sire. The situation could be more dire. Deep sea diver. From out the frying pan to the fire. MCs be like backseat drivers, tell them buckle up. Big trucks, we riding big wheels. Big pump, big tuck, bitch, I'm a big deal. Bigger the cap, the bigger the billing. The bigger her ass, the better the feeling. The bigger the bag, the hyper the show. I take it in cash, the 20s and more. Back to back nights partying. Only stop to pray and then we start again. Just live today and let the rest go. We already know the way, baby, let's roll. And get back to the groove. Back to the basics, back in the mood. Back to the music, back to the truth. Back to the proof, I'll be watching over you.
All right, and we're back. This is Coy and Lola's Love Life, with the Black Tea Sip. And I want to talk about historically what has happened when we are faced with mass shootings in this country. We are all still reeling from the murder of innocent children, babies, from Uvalde, Texas. And, you know, one of the stories that affected me the most was the story of the father who's an EMT, and his wife called him. He can literally stand at his front door and see the school. And his wife called him and said, I hear shooting at the school. So he races home, and he's met by his daughter's best friend. And she's covered in blood from head to toe. He said it was dripping off of her. And he learns that his daughter has been murdered from her best friend. And his daughter's brains are in her hair. That's the most horrific thing I've ever heard in my life. We have a country that is fighting to keep guns. Now, let me say this before y'all pounce on me. I am a Texan, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I believe in a right to bear arms, and if you, I ain't no killer, but don't push me. I will bear arms. You know, my father is a gun collector. We grew up around guns. That's a Texas thing. I mean, I think it's an Oklahoma thing. I think we can go all the way to Montana. You know, that is a thing for us. We used to talk about guns kill, and they say, oh, no, guns don't kill, people kill. No, gun got to be in somebody's hand. Now, let's stop being stupid. But I'm not sure why you need assault weapons. And I have family members that own them responsibly, but I still don't know why they need them. Now, I'm about to say something going to get me in trouble. I understand why black people want them. Yeah. So at least they have a fighting chance. But I don't understand, excuse me, I don't understand this whole thing about hunting. You do not hunt with an assault rifle. If you hunt with an AR-15, you blew all the meat out the other side.
Yeah, there's no meat to even.
There's nothing left.
An assault rifle, it is in its name.
Assault.
It is in its name. It's assault, to assault. And if you need that to hunt, you're not a hunter. Because that's not
you're
what
a killer.
Yeah, you are definitely
a killer.
A killer.
You're not a hunter.
And you know, I think what's interesting, I do brag about the fact that I'm 41 and I still have to, you know, take my ID with me because they will not sell me alcohol or let me in any place that requires ID if I don't have it because I don't look my age. Anyways, in saying that though, I could go buy a gun.
Right.
And nobody's going to ask me for my ID.
They'll ask you for your ID. They will ask you for your ID, and they will do a cursory check. A cursory check. They'll ask you for your ID. And I know because I bought a firearm this year. So here's the thing. In the state of Texas, where these babies were murdered. You no longer have to take a class or be permitted. And the class is supposed to teach you gun safety, what to do, how to hold your firearm, how to holster it without shooting yourself in the foot like the man did at the high school. This fool shot himself in the foot.
Richardson?
I think it was Richardson.
Yeah.
And even though the police understand that it was an accident, he is being charged with multiple felonies because you're not supposed to be in a school with a gun.
No.
So we got some idiots out here that are bearing arms in the great state of Texas. And we've done away with measures to ensure that the people that are carrying guns in their car, in their handbags, whatever, that they are responsible people. And the country is fighting to keep assault weapons on the street. Now, we had a mass shooting. Let me say this. I don't know how you can buy body armor. How are these people getting this body armor? That don't sound strange to you? Because listen, if you out here hunting grizzly bears don't have a gun. So body armor is to protect you from bullets.
Yep.
And so then the question is, well, why would this person need this? And I said I was going to do a search and just see. But see, like the FBI would be up here. If I did it right now, the FBI would be up here asking questions of me because, I'm a loudmouth and I'm black. I wonder, are black people able to get this readily? I'm not saying, we're resourceful people. So, but are black people going on these sites and just buying body armor?
No.
Are brown people going on these sites just buying body armor? I don't believe that. I think this is some kind of, what's a good word? Other than conspiracy. Collaborative to make sure people have what they want to take these kinds of measures, to ensure that they are protected. I know that there are, Rush Limbaugh, well, he got what he was supposed to get. And then you have Alex Jones, who's being sued by the Sandy Hook people, who is a conspiracy theorist. And I have listened to Alex Jones. Alex Jones is a guy who wanted to be an elected official. He wanted, to participate in electoral politics. And he was not allowed in. And so he decided he would expose what he felt like was going on. Once he realized that he could come out with all these conspiracy theories and say all kinds of crazy stuff, and the crazier it got, the more fans he got. And this man has turned the vitriol and disgusting commentary into a multi-million-dollar business. So, I say if my retirement don't look right, I'm just going to start celebrating the GOP because I know they pay good. But right now I still have some integrity. So I know that these kinds of things, this body armor and these what do they call the chambers, the caliber, so that the calibers, you can hold more of them. I think the shooter in Buffalo had 30 rounds. That's illegal in New York and in New Jersey, but he was able to buy it over the internet and ship it to his house. So I get shut down by Facebook. Nobody's monitoring this.
It's not. Yeah, it should be a very huge red flag. And why are you getting it shipped to your house?
Because they have no fear.
Right, but in that
it's not going to a police station. What you're saying?
Yeah, but you're not. You're not even looking at like an office or anything.
Right.
A company. This is a person getting all this shipped to their house, and no one. There was no alarm or trigger in it.
Because the Republicans are about small government. And that supposedly means, as you well know, Lola, that supposedly means they don't want the government overreaching and getting all in your business. But they stay in our business. It just depends on...
they stay in our business when they telling me I got to have a baby if I don't want it.
Because maybe they think if your uterus and your business are two different things. They stay in your uterus, they stay in your bedroom, but maybe your business is different. I just feel it's difficult for me to talk about this because I have school-age children. And I am, you know, I look at my sons and their friends, and those babies are my babies. You know, we love on each other's kids.
Yeah. I mean, my sister owns a child care center.
Yeah.
And those kids that were killed, she has 15 kids in her child care center. And those kids that were killed are the very same age as those kids at her child care center.
This idea that we can just go on as usual is ridiculous. We have not recovered. Listen, I still have PTSD from George Floyd.
Yeah.
Sandra Bland, Tamir Rice. I mean, I'm still dealing with Trayvon. I am still dealing with that. I am still picturing the man who was in his car and got afraid of the police and tried to back up and backed away from the police, and they shot him in his head and killed him and said that he was using his vehicle as a deadly weapon. Like, you know, when I get in my car, I got to say a prayer. And now that I go to the grocery store, I got to say a prayer. Now, how do I send my children in there? Because I am a praying woman, but we talking about my babies. So now what is it that we do? I used to think it was ridiculous that we had to walk through metal detectors. When I did my student teaching at Lincoln Humanities and Communication High School. She thought I was just gonna say Lincoln. My little brother went to that school, and I did my student teaching there, and I did not look my age as a teacher, and so I would walk around it, and many times early on anyway, the security would say, "Excuse me," and I would say, "Oh, do teachers go through there?" And they'd be like, "You're a teacher?" But you know, some of these teachers crazy too. Maybe they need to go through the metal detector. I'm not advocating that children live in an insecure box, but I am advocating that we do something else in our schools. Mm-hmm. If we are going to not take accountability for how children are treating one another, and I think every single school should have a licensed therapist on campus. These children are dealing with a lot. I am certainly not excusing the behavior, because this whole thing about you got so mad. Well, okay, you got mad. Your grandma was getting on your nerves. She was on AT&T. So this person is triggered and highly agitated. So he should have been not just medicated, but institutionalized. Right. But aside from that, where is the connection between killing the grandmama and going to kill these babies at school?
That's where I'm like, and at no point did you think that killing your, like, oh, I just killed my grandmother, like, I might need to put the gun down. You know, like, you are thinking about the actions that you have just taken.
Yeah.
And instead, it increases your excitement, and you go and you kill kids.
Babies. These were babies. And when we're talking about I don't know what my phone's doing. When we're talking about the tragedy, the people that had to this is a horror show. The people that had to be had to have DNA, so they swabbed their mouths, I'm assuming, because their children were unrecognizable.
And that's the thing. You couldn't even recognize them.
Because the little boy was shot in the face with an AR-15.
And I think we all have been aggravated, agitated, angry, want to hit a wall,
sometimes you want to hit somebody. I done had some cousins I have to say, hey, you handling me real rough. Stop talking now. I'm going to forget we family.
There are people, I'm sure, who have wanted to throw me through the window as they're talking to me. Because I know I can be very sarcastic, and can be very petty. But even in that mind space, you kept a child.
So now we have to dissect the mental illness part of it, okay?
Right.
Because clearly, if a person kills their grandmother and then goes and kills a bunch of babies and teachers that have done nothing to him, then we know that's mental illness. So while we're having this conversation about guns, why have they not, Congress and the Senate, that are the legislative bodies of these United States of America, why have we not had an emergency source of revenue into mental health facilities?
Right.
And we know they can do it because they did it for COVID. Mm-hmm. You looked up,
and
Biden
you getting a check every 2 weeks. Everything.
Biden immediately set up makeshift COVID testing and vaccination. Listen, I was riding down the street and I saw, it looked like you know how when you would see Africa years back and it would be like a shanty town? Mm-hmm. It was like a little makeshift kind of, I don't even know what to call it, shack next to a car wash. Get your COVID shot here. Because Biden just poured money. Anybody, I had three people call me and say, Court, I think we should do it. I don't want to fool with that. I don't want to fool with government money, and I don't want to go around sticking people in their arms. I don't want to fool with that. That's not my ministry. So I said, no, I know people making money hand over fist. Maybe I should have rethought it. But people are making money hand over fist because Biden just poured money. So we know they can do it. So people who are licensed mental health professionals, why is there not a way to sign off, get an influx of cash, and try to help these people with mental health issues? Because that boy was living with his grandmother because he was ticky boom boom anyway. And there was no help for her to deal with him. Because I guarantee when we really unpack it, there were some issues there.
Yeah, because I'm thinking this is not his first.
This ain't his first rodeo.
And we cannot, please stop ignoring the signs.
Right.
Please. If it look crazy and sound crazy, it's crazy.
It's quacking like a duck.
Yeah,
it's a duck.
You know, and get crazy some help. Or get away from crazy. But you cannot ignore the signs
and be dismissive,
things
right?
Will escalate, and then
yes,
you know it's like an abusive relationship. You know, well he hit me, but I punched him and pushed him in the wall, and now y'all both are sitting in front of the police with gunshot wounds. Because it will escalate.
It's going to escalate. It's going to escalate. And I think what we're usually dealing with mental illness is the fact that you have people that are unwell, mentally unwell, and they're usually the ones that are victimized. Mm-hmm. They're, someone calls for help, and then we see the police come out and shoot them, kill them, brutalize them, throw them, in jail. We've seen that time and time again. Mm-hmm. A statistic that I thought was really interesting is that they said if we were to stop the assault on the mentally ill, violence in this country would go down to less than 5%.
Oh, I believe that.
I think that is a very interesting thing. I wonder what the statistic would be if we actually funded the people and the facilities that are trying to help people with mental illness.
Well, when Ronald Reagan got in office, they had state mental
health facilities, and he cut them.
And he cut them all. And so the majority of the people that we see homeless, the majority of the people that we see doing the things, there's no place and no resource
for them to go.
And we are reaping those that action based on the fact that and here's the thing. Just because it ain't happening around you and you don't understand it does not mean it's not a serious issue, and it does not action needs to be taken. And I think that's what happens a lot of times. I don't have children, but I have a niece and a nephew. Mm-hmm. I have my sister's a child care center owner. There are kids around me, so I'm not picking up kids from school every day and dropping them off, but although it's not directly in my life, does not mean it's not a serious, and
it's done, and we are all affected. Whether you have children or not, you are affected by little babies being killed. I
had a friend whose daughter, she's 5. And they go to her daughter goes to a nice Montessori school. And the little girl came home and told her parents that they had to do a drill. And the drill was to hide and be quiet. And, my friend asked her daughter, basically, why did you all do that drill? And she said, just in case a stranger comes in. And my friend asked her, was she scared? And she said, no. But when three kids in her class wouldn't be quiet. And she said she got really scared because if a stranger comes in and they're not quiet, something bad can happen. Like, she recognized that. And, you know, though she's thinking these other kids are not. And so it really broke my friend's heart that
this is the world we live.
Because, I mean,
this is how we raising our children.
The drills when I was in elementary was a fire drill,
and tornado
hurricane drill, tornado drill. It was not hide under the desk
and be quiet.
And be quiet
in case somebody trying to kill you.
Just in case somebody comes in and tries to kill you. And here's the thing. Now teachers have to protect your kids, in their classroom while teaching.
Yes.
So you have multiple responsibilities, and you pay them pennies,
right?
And then make them do BS. I don't know if I can say it. Make them do BS work that keeps them from being effective in their classroom, only to deal with this.
With gun violence.
Violence.
And this idea that the Republicans have about, the teachers need to be armed.
Because what
and
happens
the kids need body armor. Because my next point is, these kids need body armor. We need to start giving these kids helmets. I don't know how it's going to save you if a bullet hit you in the face from an AR-15. But these kids need helmets, and they need bulletproof vests. Because clearly, what we're looking for in the legislature is fight back. There's a thing psychologically where you're dealing with a fight or flight, depending on your mechanisms and how you're wired, how you respond to certain stimuli.
And I'm
But the problem is first of all, we're not teaching the right things in school. We're not teaching the right things in school because our children are so jacked up. I gotta take a quick break. I'm gonna tell you, Nola's gonna make her point, but I'm gonna tell you what's wrong, because I'm gonna tell you why these kids is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'll be right back. This is Coy with the Black T7.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analyst are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
Louis on my eyes, you got them days. Took you a whole year to bounce back. Took me a couple days. You hitting licks, I'm getting rich. I'm hitting C notes. Watch what you say. I got a pick. I can show you what he know. He can do tricks. He with the shit. Do what I tell him to. If he get at you, I plead the fifth. I didn't tell him to. I hit the block. The block was hot. I had to drive the top. Remember the name. Never forget the face. I'm coming back. Whoa now, go get your phone now. Yeah. Whoa now, go get your phone now. You should've watched me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. I be on my grind. Bitches think I hit the lotto. You should've watched me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. Bitches think I'm lying. Nah, I ain't hit the lotto. Oh, now, go get your phone now, cause I'm in a zone now. This is my town. Turn off the lights now, cause I'm shutting shit down. Sending shots to all my haters. No, I don't promote violence. Where is the waiter? Sign autographs later, then I gotta go. Sign autograph on the back of my check. Minding my business, yeah, that's a bet. Baby, my entourage ready to flex. Pop rubber bands, see we neck to neck. Running the race, I got his next. How does it taste? suitcase. Whoa, now, go get your phone now. Go get your phone. Whoa, now, go get your phone now. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. I be on my grind. Bitches think I hit the lotto. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. Bitches think I'm lying. I ain't hit the lotto. They gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they gon' hate on you 'cause they gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they know you shining bright. They gon' hate on you 'cause they gon' hate on you. Watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. I be on my grind. Bitches think I hit the lotto. You should watch me shine. Look like I hit the lotto. Bitches think I'm lying. I ain't hit the lotto.
All right, and we're back. I was saying before the break, this is Coy and Lola of Lola's Love Life. I was saying that, truthfully, what is wrong with these children is there's a lot of things. One, we had teachers that were ill-equipped to deal with all kinds of children. We started migrating Becky's into the inner city so that they could get their student loans paid off through the Job Corps.
You said that frustrates me. Now I did teach for 2 years as well, and the one thing that used to get up under my skin was Becky's coming into these schools,
in the inner city schools, with no clue of how to deal with children that are there's a lot there. They're either not adequately teaching them because it's a disconnect.
Yeah.
They will enable, then the kids, it's just like a sub. When we were in school, everybody knew you'd get over on the sub.
And let me say this, I was a sub, and you couldn't get over on me. And the kids like me more than the regular teacher. I was a sub too, but my undergrad degree is in secondary education. Y'all didn't ask for that. I know y'all don't care. But I was a teacher, and I'm a fourth generation educator. So education to me is really important, but what I'm seeing is a decline. So when we start talking about our children and what's going on with our babies, what's happening is there has been, since the Reagan administration, there has been a dumbing down of our children, not only in who we put in front of them, but the resources and the materials. While that was going on, simultaneously, we were giving every child a trophy. Yep.
While we were doing that, and not teaching them to deal with disappointment, helping them understand that this might not be your ministry. You might not be a shot putter. You may not be able to run the hurdles. You can't get the ball in the hole, but baby, you are fantastic as a kicker. So let's let him be a kicker. He is, you know what, that ain't your thing, but this chess club, this debate club, this math club, this is your ministry. So what we gonna do, you like football? We're gonna work with you, and so that you work with the coaches so that we start looking at, stats with baseball and how to run the plays and what's the velocity of the ball, and if the kicker is at 60 yards, is he going to make it given this ball? It was so much we could have done with these children that we didn't do. We started telling these kids, don't fight back, tell the teacher. So we equipped children to be completely incompetent to care for themselves. because there is no teacher in the bathroom. There's no teacher on the playground, at the park, at the Chuck E. Cheese.
Well,
there's no teacher
on
there.
Social media, because our kids have social media.
They didn't even see that coming.
And so I mean, all these things. I was telling Coy that I actually lived in New York when Sandy Hook happened, and the crazy part about Sandy Hook was I was coming back to New York. I don't know where we were coming from, but there was a father whose kid was who attended the school. Now I don't know if the kid was harmed. I never got his information. And although at the time I just wanted the senior director of Def Jam to just disappear, I didn't want her to die.
We're not gonna call no names.
I just did not want her to be in my presence. We both had to share a car service. And I remember thinking, like, I don't even want to be in the car sitting with her this long. And if you've ever been to New York, the travel from the city to the airport is a
ridiculous.
Lot. And I said, I think we need to give this man the car. And she said, you're right. And so we gave,
Was that y'all's first time ever agreeing?
Yes.
And last time?
Yes. And I think it was a long time after that. I was like, oh my God, I'll never be with this lady again. But we gave him the car. She even changed her seat. So because she flew first class and I definitely was the help. So I flew way in the back, and it was okay, I'm getting there, okay? I'm still getting there.
We all got our mixture.
She traded seats with him so he could ride first class, so he could immediately get off, and the car service take him to his child. And I remember when we got back to New York, just the whole state. Mm-hmm. Because this was right after the hurricane that we had, where everything was flooded, and we couldn't go anywhere because the subways were shut down. So it was like the whole state was just
in turmoil.
It was just dark. Even if the sun was shining, it was dark. And I kind of feel that way about the United States, though. It's dark.
It's dark. That's a good metaphor.
I work in a congressional office, and a man called yesterday from Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
But he asked, he said, "Well, I just wanted to call down there to see if you all were okay, really okay."
No, so we're not.
And I was like, "No, we're not. I know, but we're dealing with." But his grandmother was one of the people who was killed
at Tops
at the grocery store. And he said he prayed all night and ask God who to call in Texas, and I guess our office was the number the guy gave him. And I'm glad I answered, because I was able to receive it and understand. Because even though this is tragedy, we take like 30 seconds and go, "Oh, that's so sad. Oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine."
And we
then
respond to the media of it all, right? Because we let I watch Gail and Company, and the thing that we let the media, Gail King and the people that's on CBS Morning, but I can't do Channel 8 because Channel 8 will give you Good Morning America. That's for people that don't want real news, because Good Morning America will give you some YouTube videos or some TikToks and things like and then you got the Charlotte Parker channel on Channel 8. Okay, never mind. So I have I have been really watching how the media respond, because a lot of times they don't have any news, right? And so they're giving you anecdotes and stuff that doesn't matter.
Rihanna's baby.
Yeah, they're like, who cares? So I mean, roaches reproduce. So I mean, now you have two horrific things. So the media, they're doing a happy dance in the back. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they've got news, right? They've got something to do. But let me tell you what bothers me. The GOP, they are still defending not taking away assault rifles. I told you I have people in my family that have assault rifles, and I'm saying I don't know what they need them for.
I don't know. And listen, you can't even say, well, I don't know why people need a Mercedes. Those are preference. Them cars run the way those cars. An assault rifle and a honey and a shotgun are completely
different. Well, they say I don't know what they need them for. Well, I mean, let me say this. I would agree with that statement, you know, about the Mercedes if it was a tank. Because my children watched a tank go down 67 north. So I don't know. And I said, that's going to some police station. So I think a more comparable analogy would be, I don't know why police stations need tanks, just like people don't need assault rifles. But I think it's very interesting that in the Uvalde murder, very similar to the young woman that worked at Tops that was trying to get help through 911 that we talked about last week, that boy was in that school for 40 minutes to an hour terrorizing those children and the faculty and staff. 40 minutes, at least 40 minutes. And the police were too afraid to go in, and they did not have a response to him until the federal, I don't want to say military, policing agency showed up. That is when we got a response. So now we have this, ooh, baby, we got this parallel. We got scary cops out here killing unarmed black and brown people.
Yeah.
We got scary cops that cannot defend our children. We got district attorneys that are refusing to prosecute people that run up on stage and try to stab our celebrities, Dave Chappelle. And we've got a mass murderer that'll shoot up and kill dozens of black people in a grocery store, can't even get you no yams, and get one count. Something is wrong with this country. And what's wrong with this country is that it is America with 3 K's capitalized. KKK. This country is racist and prejudiced, and they do not care about these babies because they were brown.
Yeah.
Now you can say, well, Carl, they didn't move for Columbine and they didn't move for Sandy Hook. You can say that. But what I am saying to you is there's no reason a Top should have happened. There is no reason a Uvalde should have happened because it already happened at Columbine and it already happened at Sandy Hook.
And because this is something that has happened multiple times in our country, you need to always be ready. That should be in your police academy training.
You know what's in your police academy training?
I have no idea.
Let me tell you what's in the police academy training.
I don't like that.
Choke holes. That's in your police academy training. And they are still defending choke holes, and Congress is still trying to ensure that they cannot use them. That is what's in the training. They tried their best to defend that with George Floyd. So while you're telling me, Coy, that it's not racist because of Sandy Hook and Columbine and then the man that shot up the people at Las Vegas and they were just trying to listen to some music. Child, you can't listen to music. Let me tell you what the difference is. Here's the difference. When that person was charged, they were charged with every single person that was shot and killed. Mm-hmm. Therein lies the difference. Tops 1 count. Dave Chappelle, 4 misdemeanors. I'm waiting to see what happens here. Now, it may be different because the Uvalde DA will be a part of that community, I hope. Because it's not going to be a city thing, it's going to be a county thing. It's going to be charged with a state crime. That's county. Because the district attorney in the Uvalde, whatever county Uvalde falls in, that will be the person that will charge them. So it may be different because that person may actually be a part of it. But the reason I say it's racism is because the governor in Michigan, who they plotted to kidnap, and that's a white woman, and they attacked, and it was 3 white men that were plotting, 3 white men plus, that were plotting to kidnap her. The real deal is that the punishment, I don't even think anything happened to them. Mm-mm. And you know why? Because she was a Democrat, and Democrat is associated with being N-word lovers. Mm-hmm. This is racism. This is racism.
And although, Beto, I think, what did he do? Like, kind of crash?
He did crash.
He crashed Abbott's press
Angela,
conference.
do we have it? Do we have Beto crashing? We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll play the video. Y'all just want to talk about the things that are going on. So Lola and I are going to sit here, and we are going to acknowledge the lives that are lost. We are going to talk about the things that's wrong. But we're also going to try to give a little healing. So stay with me. This is Coy with the Black Tea Sip.
Welcome to Marriage is Ministry. I'm Elder Cordell.
And I'm Bishop Richetta. Come experience the bold truth about marriage the Christian way, uncompromised and transparent.
Every Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m.
on Fishbowl Radio Network.
Podcasters, the name of the game is to get more visibility for your podcast so you can gain more credibility with your audience, thus more profitability. If you're ready to start syndicating your podcast and massively grow your audience and influence, then contact Fishbowl Radio Network today at 817-633-4880. Fishbowl Radio Network is one of the largest streaming platforms in the world. And now your podcast can be heard all over the world by the listening audience that Fishbowl Radio Network has amassed over the last 11 years. With over 6 million impressions a month and growing, this is a platform that all podcasters should be on to create greater visibility for their podcast. Jump in today and be a part of the Fishbowl family, streaming great live internet radio shows and podcasts 24/7. 817-633-4880. Jump in.
Hey DFW, it's Luna and Nika, owners of Real Dallas Properties and Management, here to serve all your real estate needs. Nika, tell them what we do.
So we're a Dallas-based boutique real estate brokerage, and we're full service, which means we can help with every and any type of real estate transaction.
That's right, we got your back at every stage of life.
Whether you need an apartment, a home rental, to buying your first home, selling that home, buying investments, to even property management.
And don't forget commercial, looking for a new space for your business? We got you on that too. You can reach us on Instagram at Real Dallas Properties or shop all properties on the market at RealDallasProperties.com.
Hi, this is Diane Marion Eunice, and I am a licensed marriage and family therapist. For the past 9 years, I have worked with over 300 couples in the areas of sexual health, communication, and conflict resolution. If you are interested in rebuilding connection and intimacy with your partner, please contact me today. I can be reached at 682-201-8175, or you can email me at diane@letstalkrelationships.org, or visit my website at www.letstalkrelationships.org. And remember, you can't heal if you refuse to deal.
Atención, Kiko está contratando. ¿Has oído bien? Kiko está contratando. Kiko te está buscando para ocupar los siguientes puestos: costurera, operadora de máquinas, conductores de carretillas elevadoras, cargadoras, empacadoras y embolsadoras. Hay 2 turnos disponibles de la mañana o noche con más horas disponible. Kiko ofrece excelentes beneficios médicos solo 30 días después de la contracción y el partido de la 401k. Visítenos en kikohome.com y envíe su resumen a cariano@lkiko.com. También puede presentar su solicitud en persona en 5450 West Keys Boulevard en Dallas. Todas las entrevistas se realizan en persona. No te pierdes esta gran oportunidad de trabajo hoy mismo en Kiko.
If doctors told us that we'd made a breakthrough on COVID-19, we would rejoice. We'd feel hope that we could live our lives again, get back to work, back to doing what we want. Well, masks are a ticket to that freedom. We can help protect others and save lives by covering our noses and mouths, which is how the virus mainly spreads. Until there's a vaccine, grab the breakthrough that's already here. When we're out, it's masks on. A message to help keep you safe.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Fishbowl Radio Network. FBRN.US. Jump in.
I've been waiting to share my love for such a long, long time. And the thought of loving you, it makes me smile. But I must be sure that this is really worth my while. Can I trust that you will always make me feel
amazing? Baby, your love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run. I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting source for sun. So baby, have a little fun.
Gorgeous, Miss Flawless, ruler of the queendom. Truly knows what it takes to help and build a kingdom. Fly as a mother, but the lady stay grounded. Her ass ain't the only thing that be well-rounded. Strength of flow, Evans, dope is Miss Huxtable. The lady that you don't mind giving your loving to. You deserve a toast. Can I have this first dance? Met 3 times, I feel it's my last. Can I be your Isley brother? You my sister's sledge. Arousing my mental, baby, giving me head. Over your head, eyes above your breast. First order of business, praise and respect. Your grind is an art, hardly duplicated. Vivid as Van Gogh, Rembrandt can't paint it. Take me to new floors. Thank you for the elevate, pushing me higher. Thank you for the levitate.
Yeah, and this is more than a dedication. Sacred love is a celebration. This is made from when you feel you can't make it. I'll build a safe haven, a place you can run when it's raining. I'll come when it's raining. Baby, keep a lookout for the sun, and maybe we can stay forever young and play forever until the morning. Love without wanting. So many never know it where we from, but I promise if you hold on, things will get better. Be strong. You never have to go at it alone. I know that it's a lot of temptation, a lot of trouble out there, but I swear that I'll be here when you get home. So baby, take the long way. Let your light shine, let your song play. Gonna speak your mind, lemonade, go Beyonce. I love your innocence, I give the world to you one day. Wake up every morning, pray for you, then I say
amazing. Baby, your love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run. I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting, so it's the sun. So baby, have a little fun.
I like how you make me feel like this love could be so real. You and me could have some fun. Will I be the only one? I've been waiting to share my love for such a long, long time. And the thought of loving you, it makes me smile. But I must be sure that this is really worth my while. Can I trust that you will always make me feel
amazing? Baby, your love's contagious. We love the stages. This love we're making is fire. I take hits to go higher. Loaded up, just one kiss, I misfire. Run. I saw Cupid with a gun. We make music and use it when it comes. We didn't choose it, but prove we get it done. The mood is setting, so it's the sun. So baby, have a little fun with it.
Bésame aquí. ¿Te gusta eso, no?
All you have to do is come here.
Ay, papi.
You know I got you.
Dámelo.
And we gonna keep it loose.
Sí, papi, así.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job.
Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Tell me why. Why can't we live together? Everybody wants to live together. Why can't we live together?
Hello, all you melanated beauties. Sun-kissed by God's lips. This is Koi with your black tea sip. I'm sipping power to pour you the truth. Go grab your cup. Let's fill it
up. All right, and we're back. If you're just joining us at the 12 o'clock hour, for the past hour, Lola and I have been talking about Uvalde and what is wrong with AmeriKKKa. So here are my thoughts as far as I've got a couple of messages where they're saying they don't think that the mass shootings attribute to racism. This is why I say this.
What?
The kids at Sandy Hook, they said, well, those kids were Caucasian. Okay. Many of the children that emerged through the Sandy Hook that we readily identified with Sandy Hook were members of the LGBTQ community.
Yep.
So it's a very progressive place. Mm-hmm. So let me add this antidote. Perhaps I am incorrect. Maybe it's not just racism. It's also prejudice, perhaps homophobia. Maybe it's also that. When you talk about Columbine was an affluent place where they typically, had the money and the resources. The parents were well off, and that little boy had military-styled weaponry under his bed. So now we got an issue with parenting.
Yeah. I don't get that. Because here's the thing. My mother stayed in my business and my ovaries and everything else.
Baby.
There is no way. As I was telling you, I was dating a guy in high school. He gave me some money. I went and bought some Calvin Klein shorts. She took me to the mall to return those shorts and told me I had to give that money back to that boy because whatever
you were doing to get that money,
you can't do that in this
baby.
house.
Because I had a little gold nugget ring, and my mama threw it out the window.
I'm thinking he's just my boyfriend. He's nice. We getting out. She let it be. She let it be.
Yeah, my mama gave me a speech about. Well, I'm not gonna let my right hand know what my left hand doing. But my mama gave me a speech that kind of broke it down as to men and money and what that's supposed to mean. And she did not break it down motherly, like she used some real words. Because my mom was the kind of mom, don't bring a note in that house, baby. She gonna go in that backpack and she gonna read it. She knew all my business. My dad had to tell me one time, your mama's reading your notes. Like, my friend writing me notes and my best friend at the time. So, I don't understand that, but as far as
how kids are having things and parents
nobody
are not
knows.
knowing. Because, I remember just even having the door closed. My mama, I need this door open, and she would just bust my door open.
I do it now to my children. I went upstairs and my son had the door locked. I said, we don't lock no doors in this house unless it's the bathroom.
No.
But you don't even have to lock the bathroom door because somebody's gonna knock and you can say, I'm in here. We don't lock doors in this house. I catch this door locked again, it's coming off the hinges. And you will smooth not have a door because I need to know what's happening. I look at both of their phones. It's the 11-year-old we got to worry about because the 14-year-old child, we got him. It's that 11-year-old. But we are looking at phones. I am reading messages. And my children, I honestly say, my oldest child talks to me so much, I really don't even have to look at his stuff. He is telling me what's happening. But parenting, it plays a role in these shootings. And so when you go back and you say, well, Corey, where is the prejudice and the racism with Columbine? The idea that your white affluency does not warrant parental investigation, does not warrant
because just like I'm sorry to cut you off, but just like parents are held accountable when kids have truancy.
That's right.
They need to be held accountable when they killing other kids. So not only do
I
they
agree
need
with that.
And
they tried that with Columbine. They did try it, but there's a certain level of affluency that allows that to happen. That allows a child to get all this weapon. Because where are these kids getting it? The Columbine child? The Sandy Hook child? Where are you getting that kind of money from? That you can acquire mass destruction.
I think I got $15 a week.
Well, that was like
but still.
We've had inflation.
Even if you are getting $100 a week.
I just don't understand where you could amass that kind of weaponry.
And this stuff is being shipped to your house. Like, as a parent, listen, my parents' house is centralized location for everything. For us all to get, if you ask me what my address is, I'm going to give you my mom's address. And I don't even live there. But, if she texts us every day, why does my front porch look like Amazon? Because we done shipped everything.
Everybody,
but she know exactly what's coming to her house.
Because my mama will open it, good as she feel, and then she'll be like, "Oh, this is yours."
She is coming to her house
because it's coming to her house.
It is coming, and she needs to know what's in her house.
Listen, Betty gonna go through her stuff. I don't understand these parents.
Still goes there. That's how I found out I had jury duty and almost missed it. And she opens it. So, and you can say, "Oh, this is probably so."
And you're grown. You're 41.
Yeah. I am so removed.
And that's why I said this is about racism. The idea that you don't need to police your children because there is some white entitlement in that. Sandy Hook, LGBTQ. So I'm going to add prejudice. When let's go on down the line. You say, okay, well, what about the shooting in Vegas? Well, okay, the shooting in Vegas. You say, well, where was the racism and the prejudice in that? I'm glad you asked. There is this idea that you need to be able, if you're a mass murderer, you need to be able to get the biggest bang for your buck. So you said that was country core. Where is the racism in that? Because in the country, Western people that would listen to country music are typically going to be more favorably GOP. So where's the racism? The racism in that, not necessarily the shooting, the response. It was in the response. The way that was handled as opposed to the way Tops was handled is racism. Because there's no real deterrent and there's no mechanisms in place to stop it. Now, when you mentioned Beto earlier, we got the clip, right, Angelo? Love Angelo. So we have the clip, and we want to show you what happened because Beto O'Rourke is running for governor. And he actually was in Uvalde. And, Beto, his name is Robert O'Rourke. He's Irish. But because he grew up in the El Paso area, they go by Beto. He's the south border. So Beto is short, and it's the Spanish nickname for Robert. That is why we call him Beto, right? So he feels a part of the Hispanic community. And he went up against Governor Hot Wheels. Roll it.
Hot Wheels.
You're out of line and an embarrassment. Sit down and don't play this stuff. Shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing. No, he needs to get his ass out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over. This is totally predictable when you... Sir, you're out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Sir, you are out of line. Please leave this auditorium. I can't believe you're a sick son of a bitch that would come to a deal like this to make a political issue. It's on assholes like you. Why don't you get out of here?
All right, and we're back. So Angelo said he's going to try to get another one because the volume wasn't good on Beto. Beto is saying you knew this was going to happen. He's telling him this is predictable, and you're doing absolutely nothing to stop it. Now, who you hear ranting and raving like a lunatic is the mayor of Uvalde, which I think is also interesting because the name of the city is Uvalde, and they have a white mayor. I'm just going to throw that out there. Y'all do what y'all want to with it. So it's a very heavily Hispanic populated area. White mayor. Okay. So
we know why.
Yep. And
just like our school board, them folks on the school board, kids don't even go to.
No, they in private school.
They in private school and probably don't even live in Dallas County. Keep going.
So I think it's interesting that Beto shows up and he says, "I can't believe," and he calls him a sick SOB, and says that he's trying to politicize this issue. Well, Lola made a very good point. Isn't it political? Because we are waiting on the House and the Senate to save us with real legislation that's going to stop people from being able to acquire these weapons of mass destruction. We are waiting on our elected officials to save us, our politicians. So I don't know if you're looking for a politician to solution a problem, isn't it a political issue? And I'm not out here carrying Beto's water for him. I am not. Lord knows.
Because I was going to say, listen, I definitely will be voting for him.
I will.
But I'll need to say this. Now, Beto, you need to keep that same
energy.
Don't get in here and be passive aggressive or just passive. Or don't do that. Don't be nice guy.
And really, you need to stop listening to the people you're listening to. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
But I'm just saying, keep that same energy. A man with more fire sitting in a two-wheeler got more fire than you. You better keep that same energy.
And Abbott was embarrassed. And so this brings me, and Angela's looking for it. I got a tweet someone sent me a tweet and really felt like that I needed to see this, and I think it's super interesting. So listen to this. So it says, now y'all know I turned 50 on Wednesday, honey. Wait a minute, hold 50 Club got to get their glasses together. All right. So Uvalde update. And this is from at My Cancer Journey, and Journey is spelled Journe, the number 3. At My Cancer Journey, number 3. Uvalde update. We were finally able to see my nephew's body to confirm identity. Shot in the face. While leaving to return home, we were followed by what was assumed to be media, which we did not wish to speak during this time. 4 minutes after returning home, a knock on the door. It's a representative for Governor Greg Abbott. He informed us he's willing to pay us to stand with the governor and say we don't need stronger gun laws.
Wow.
To which almost got this clown hurt. He was asked to leave and said that if we speak about this conversation, we will be facing charges and possibly worse. We responded with F you. Try me and find out. Then we were told people get hurt and disappear all the time.
What?
F Greg Abbott and this harassment while we all mourn. I believe it. I believe all of it. I told y'all in the 11 o'clock hour, if my retirement situation don't work out, I'm just going to get on here and start praising the GOP, because what they going to do is fund a good retirement, baby, because they looking for people that can be bought. Yep. Right now I have too much integrity and too much dignity, but, you know, I mean, if I'm facing being a Walmart greeter, I might switch up on y'all.
But I am going to use that money to fund my community. I will reinvest with the GOP money. So
look, y'all gonna get some stuff now. y'all gonna get some stuff. Y'all just be saying, "Call out there, sold us out." But look at this brand new grocery store.
We finally got one.
Yeah. I might have to, I have to switch it up. But I think this is accurate. It's certainly not surprising. I mean, when you first see it, you're like, "Oh my God!" But it was no shocker.
But to say people get hurt and come up missing all the time, like they lost their keys to their car, or somebody stole the wheels off their car. You can't replace people. You cannot.
But that's exactly what's happening with these mass shootings. People are joining this fraternity, this club of brokenheartedness. And they have to move on. And they have to move on in a country that is clearly telling them they don't give a crap.
But and that increases drug use in a whole lot. Because now we're coping, right? You know, they're putting you under all these medications.
That's right.
And now you've increased the prescriptions, so the whole...
So pharma makes more money.
Pharmaceuticals is making more money. Everybody.
There's a cycle for and that's why you're making my point for me. I believe there is a cycle that is to enrich people, and that is why we don't have stronger gun laws.
Because even with mental health and going to see someone, we can barely go to the doctor.
That's right.
Just about our physical health.
That's right. So
going to a doctor about our mental health, that's a luxury.
It is.
It's a luxury. And when you think about things like that, and you know it's a necessary need that can't be met, so you figure out how to mask or cope with it through other ways of doing things, be it drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. But there is a lot, and it's going to take a whole lot of time. And I mean, in a lot of time, it may mean a lifetime, especially for parents. Because no one.
So I have a cousin that lost his daughter. She was 8. You never heal from burying your child. I wanna touch on some other things. I left out the word. The real reading says finally able to see my living nephew's body to confirm identity. Now clearly, I read that as a typo. That is not what that person meant. But this person is distraught, they're upset, and they're trying to get the word out as fast as possible. So here are some of the responses, because I always like to see the responses, then you know the pulse of of the country. Someone says, be very, very skeptical of tweets like this, folks. Then someone else says, read it, and he puts in the living part. And so then you have another guy that says, obviously typos autocorrect from a distraught person typing on his phone. You can see from previous unleaked tweets that his nephew was in fact killed. So, you know, then you have somebody that says guns, misogyny, and racism, what a party. Oh my God, this sounds like it can't possibly be true. But on the other hand, it sounds exactly like it can. Please speak out. Like, so now people don't know what to believe because the misinformation that we get.
Well, what we know we can believe is that his nephew
is dead.
And what we know to be true is that his nephew is dead, and whatever he got from Greg Abbott, it wasn't a condolence.
Now that is what we know.
So even
because that would have been televised. Right. That would have been all over media.
So sorry.
If he rolled himself up there.
Everybody's funeral arrangements will be paid for. I can't imagine, because here's the thing: those kids. I mean, these are majority blue collar working families.
That's right. Right.
And so now, I mean, because now only do you have to, life has to go on because you don't get time off.
Right.
You know, if you don't work today, you don't get paid today. And so you got to deal with that. And you got to deal with your child. You got other children.
You try to, yes.
And I can't, and all I'm dealing with is me, and I know that this ain't right.
This is what we have done in this country. I don't know how many people know this. There were 2 mass shootings in 1996. One in Australia and one in England. Now, both of them school shootings. In Australia in 1996, all shotguns were taken. It looked like some rifles were also turned in. You could not have, and I'm not talking about AR-15s and Uzis. I'm talking about rifles and shotguns. You could not have it. You could not have it. They took them out and they did a buyback program. In England, it is against the law to carry or own a firearm. Now, I think there are some exceptions because people do hunt. We saw that the English royalty, they do hunt. They're not out there with their finger or water going to my pum pum pum. So you know, clearly there are some exceptions, but even in the state of New York, there are certain weapons that you cannot have that automatically trigger a felony. I remember my childhood friend, Damian Robinson, that played in the NFL for a number of years, I don't know, 12, 14 years. When he was with the New York Jets, he had a rifle in his car. He had gone hunting in upstate New York. When he went to the stadium, it triggered a mass response. It turned to a whole thing. He couldn't go to the game. I mean, they were talking about arresting him and throwing him away. And, you know, it was an oversight. That is how strict the gun laws are in New York. But you can buy a chamber that will hold 30 calibers of 30 bullets. So clearly there's a disconnect here. But the fact that this has happened to another community, and you have the Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and others that are justifying keeping the weapons. In Houston, Texas, right now, the NRA is having their convention. If that is not the most insulting thing,
I know.
I actually thought the most insulting thing I had ever heard of is when Amber Geiger killed Botham Jean and the city council voted to give police a raise while she was on administrative leave. Now, understanding she was not going to be able to get any part of that raise. But I thought the optics and the feel of it was clearly insulting.
And insensitive. Yeah,
and demonstratively insensitive. This has got to be if insult to injury was a person or an organization.
This is it.
So you've got murders in Uvalde, Texas of children and 2 teachers. And Irma, somebody sent it to me. Irma, one of the teachers, Her husband had a massive heart attack today and died. So he has joined his wife, but the truth is, it's got to be the most horrendous thing in the world for this family, because he literally died of a broken heart.
Yeah.
And anybody that's ever been lovesick knows that your heart hurts. This man, my grandfather died of a broken heart. I mean, they've done tests. The Mayo Clinic has the actual, shows a normal, healthy heart, and then the death of a spouse, and then you can see the digression and how the heart actually shrinks. You can die of a broken heart. This man had a massive heart attack and died. Too grief-stricken to go on. This is what we're doing in this country. I feel like the NRA and all of the Republicans that continue to support them killed this man's wife and ultimately killed him.
And the thing is, even if you wanted us to, there's no even room for negotiation, right, with the NRA. And I say that because they don't even feel any remorse or responsibility, right? Because they're like, we didn't give him the gun, we didn't buy it for him, why is it our problem? It is your problem because you are promoting laws that are giving people the ability
That's right.
to buy the gun and kill. And you're thinking that's not my problem. It is.
And it's your fault.
And the reality is, it should not have to happen directly to you.
For you to respond.
Because let
That's
me
right.
say this. Now, if someone was offended and said that I didn't know that I thought they didn't know how to do their job, but I'm gonna say this again. If you get ready,
Shots
if
fired.
you stay ready,
You ain't gotta get
you
ready.
ain't gotta get ready.
And
if the light come on and I know I need gas,
and then you run out, whose
and you
fault
know
is
what?
that?
That's mine.
Because I mean, and that gas is $8,000 a gallon, but you still gotta
But
buy it.
still, and that's my whole thing. You cannot wait until this directly affects you to say, okay, now we got to do something. The warning signs were the lives of so many people before that.
And that was Beto O'Rourke's part. That was his point. That this is predictable. So I want to know.
Look, I was in high school when the high school shooting, mass shooting. Where was that? We just finished talking about
Sandy
it.
Hook or
Not
Columbine?
Columbine. When that happened, immediately, just like you said, Australia.
We should have really looked at. And that was in 1996. So there are places people cannot believe. A couple of things from Europe in particular. They can't believe our pharmaceutical distribution and how we handle it with commercials on there saying you got toe fungus, but your tongue gonna swell up and go in the back of your neck and come out your hairline.
But please take this.
But take it, because it only happens to 1 million people.
May cause depression, suicidal thoughts. And then you got a woman walking in a field of daisies.
Right.
Only to know that the daisies may be you being the Walking Dead.
And all this woman want to do is cure her toe fungus. Just cut the whole toe off at this point. Just cut the whole toe off because you got stuff to do. Because now the medication, and how many times have we heard that these medications cause suicidal thoughts?
Oh, yes.
And in depression. And manic depression is a trigger for people to become highly agitated. Now, I'm not saying because somebody's depressed, they're going to go out and kill people. But this, in the same way, I believe, now this is a coism, y'all do whatever y'all want to with this. I believe that when kids get on, what is the medicine for, because they can't be still, ADHD?
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
Ritalin.
Ritalin, and what's the other one? Adderall. I think Ritalin leads to Adderall, and I think Adderall leads to what is the one called that grown-ups be on, like lithium or something? No, that's a battery. No, the Xanax is another one people do that they medicate. It's a medication that's supposed to, and I'm sorry, y'all, I'm drawing a blank, but there was a study that shows that these kids on Ritalin, then Adderall, and Ritalin. I mean, now, is it Ritalin?
No.
Something that adults end up taking, and over time, it does cause acute depression. So we're medicating these children, we're medicating them in adolescence, we're medicating them as adults, and then we want to know why they're not right. But Big Pharma making money, and we know that we can't trust Big Pharma because of the opioid crisis. I mean, technically, we know we can't trust the federal government because of the crack epidemic, but that's a talk show for a different day. So here we are, front and center with another mass murder, and this time of very young children. Now, I'm going to get to it. The GOP believes that, and Alex Jones was a big proponent of pushing this out, and so was Rush Limbaugh. And I know, he went to the smoking section. We know he did, and he in the hardest, I know he got spewed out of God's mouth to the hottest part of hell. Never mind, I'm back on track. So what they believe is that these mass shootings are, in some of the GOP, certainly not all, okay? These mass shootings are contrived so that the federal government will be justified in taking away our guns, so that the federal government will have more control, issue martial law, and take over. Now, the people who believe that are the people that believe that the vaccination had a chip in it, so that they control you with mind control through Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg's inventions. These are the same people that believe that certain individuals have the mark of the beast on them. These are the same people that believed that there was a child or kiddie porn in an Austin basement of a pizzeria, because that man walked into that pizzeria, did not kill anyone, thank God, with a military assault rifle, going to rescue the non-existent children that Barack Obama and believed Hillary Clinton were putting into sex trafficking and sex slavery. These are these people that believe that they are not going to allow their representatives in the legislature to have effective gun laws, because ultimately the federal government is trying to take away all your weapons so that they can put you in some kind of mind slavery.
So, this guy, somebody just said, go get your monkeypox
Go get your monkeypox vaccination.
Vaccine. We're going to talk about the shootings every single day in our communities. I'm going to say it like Eazy-E said, okay?
Go ahead.
He said, now the guns in our community didn't come to, we didn't go get them, they came to us.
Now.
Because we don't have a passport and we ain't got the money.
And we don't have no
You're
planes.
Welcome.
We don't have
You're
no planes.
Welcome. So you go, so again, this has everything to do with how legislation has not enforced or put laws in place for us to be protected. Yes, he did.
Okay, so he wants to know about the shootings
in our communities. That's what I said.
So let me
say this about the shootings. If when there are shootings in our community, we are shooting the person we are after.
Well, let me add this part to it. Do shootings not take place in white communities?
Oh, every day.
White folks get shot all the time.
Mm-hmm. And they shoot up the whole family and the cousins behind them.
So when you say in your community, so you're not part of our community because you put a Y there. That Y is clearly distinguishable, and your pointed hood is poking out your pocket. So understand that when you say the shootings in your community, do you not have shootings in yours?
Yeah.
Because white people shoot white people. The only difference is there's a phrase that has been coined, and it wasn't by black people that said black on black crime, but there's white on white crime.
Asian on Asian crime.
And people in the black community, to Lola's point, when they shoot somebody, they know that person, and they meant to. Now, we got people going out here shooting. That man that went to Buffalo, he drove 3 hours to shoot some people. He was from your community. He was from your community. So let me ask this. What's your name? Let me get it right here. Add something this. Yeah, that's what it say. I didn't mess up. That's what it say.
Yeah,
you want me to spell it for you? 'Cause, you know, we all about, we sip power to pour truth. ADSUPINTHIS. This is your little 2 seconds of fame. Do you have a commentary for that? For the person that drove 3 hours to murder people that look like me and Lola for no other reason than to just want to kill some black people?
Or the guy.
I mean, because come on, baby, because you can talk on here.
And
Right. Drove out to that same thing, wanted to kill some brown people because they were brown. These people minding their
Carolina,
business.
at the church.
Dylan Roof.
Yeah, he didn't even go. He wasn't a member. He didn't pay no tithes. He didn't know none of them people. He just walked right on in.
It was a black church and they deserved to die because they were black.
In a historical church.
So I think before we start talking about shootings in your community, I want to deal with.
Stay out.
This is what I want to say. There are all kinds of programs to deal with the disparities that cause people to feel that they have to run up in a 7-Eleven and rob them. Okay, but I also know when we were protesting and we were talking about the disparities in healthcare disparities, judicial disparities, life disparities, we also know that there was people that didn't look like us, that were not from our community, that were in there running around, that were looting and pillaging and setting fires, that did not look like us.
I definitely was participated in a rally for George Floyd.
Right.
And in that night, I will never forget, and I knew it was not right. There were 5 white men with shotguns, rifles, machine guns, and one had a machete. And he was like, "Oh yeah, Black Lives Matter." I knew they weren't there for the same reason that I
remember that.
was there. And so you're going to ask about the shootings in our neighborhood, and you show.
Because how many times does a black person go to a white neighborhood and terrorize people? How many times they do that?
The only time we're terrorized when we got good credit moving into the community.
So I think I'm gonna leave that there because what you did was you kind of pissed me off a little bit. I think I don't want people to tell me about shootings in black communities because you know what? You want to stop shootings in black and brown communities? Put a grocery store. Have some jobs there.
Transportation to jobs.
Yes, because that's another disparity. People don't have transportation. They can't get on the bus line.
We got a whole city bus line, DART, and you refuse to come to our community to pick us up to go to work.
I think, and the jobs are not in our community.
No.
And that's intentional. It's called redlining. Lola and I'm not making this up. So I don't want anybody talking to me about black on black crime because white on white crime happens every day. The crimes that are committed in this country, whether it's drugs, marijuana smoking, something some people typically have the same understanding about marijuana smoking that most people want marijuana to be legalized. Whether it's this idea that we rob and steal more. Studies have shown that blacks and whites commit the same amount of crime, but they are jailed at a huge disproportion. So miss me with talking about that because white folks shooting white folks, they stabbing white folks running and look, running over each other because that woman ran over that man when he was cheating on her and used him as a whole speed bump. So don't come for it. Don't come for us unless we call for you, baby. But I do think that there is a lot of telling. It is very telling as to how this country feels about the people that have been brutalized. Yeah. And the response, there are huge disparities in the response, and that is racism. And so as long as you have more black and brown people that are being brutalized and shot and killed, there's not going to be anything because that's them over there, and there's this idea that we don't deserve to have a quality of life that is comparable to our counterparts. This is Quote the Black T said. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to let Lola tell us about her love life. And I think he quit watching. Well, adios.
Do you want to find a stable job in a growing field? IT jobs such as network systems administrators, cybersecurity, programming, cloud, and computer systems analysts are expected to increase 25% by 2022. Texas Premier Technology Institute offers training for top certifications such as CompTIA, Cisco, and Microsoft in less than 12 weeks. And if you're unemployed or underemployed, you may qualify for free tuition. Contact TPTI at 1-888-490-TPTI or check them out on the web at tpti.us.
Yeah, I wanna be, yeah, I wanna be, I wanna be, You keep on asking me where I wanna be. I wanna be next to you. Baby, I'm thankful for the game that you're teaching me. I take it to heart. I want a piece of you. I wanna be yours. I wanna know what you're thinking. And when we talk, what you feel. There is a problem, babe. Don't know if it's real or not. I know what I feel. I need some more of you. You and me belong together. I don't mind showing you it's real. I feel your heart when it beat. Me and you, we on the same team. I wanna be yours. I wanna be yours. I got a smart mouth, but I want it to be yours. I got a good heart and it's beating for you. Don't have to show me it's real. I wanna be, yeah. I don't mind showing you it's real. Glowing up, you taught me the basics about diamonds and snakes. Timing is precious and it's better to wait. Tick tock, baby, I'm listening. I wanna know more. Don't wanna be your apprentice. I wanna be yours. I'm ready to jump in the deep end now. Baby, I'm sure you got that high dollar love, babe, like Christian Dior. Don't wanna be your friend.
All right, and we're back. This is Corey and Lola, and we are discussing Uvalde, Texas, the murders of children and 2 teachers. And I told you that we would not only talk about it, we would not only discuss it, we would not only talk about what's wrong with this country, but we would also offer some solutions. And so I want to do that now, and then I want to do some healing, the best that we can. I mean, it just happened. We're still reeling. But I think one of the things that we can do is equip our children to have a voice. I feel very strongly that my mother's generation fought so hard to get us over the hump with the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And then that generation that came right behind them became very complacent because there was affirmative action and we were starting to work in corporations and we were going to their universities. And you know, we went to PWIs and we left the HBCUs alone and we snubbed the HBCUs and the education of the for us, by us, and we started to assimilate and to move into their neighborhoods and to migrate and to tell our children it was all right to intersect in all ways. And so we left it undone and unfinished, the work that needed to be done. And so now we are faced with figuring out how to fix what has been left undone, because now what we are doing is history is repeating itself. We are seeing the same kind of responses from our legislature, and we are now trying to tell our children how to cope. Here's a solution. Start telling your children the truth. Start telling your children the reason these babies died in Uvalde, Texas is because people don't care about black and brown people. Tell your children that the reason Sandy Hook didn't get the real attention with change that it deserved is because many of those children were from the LGBTQ community and that it was a very progressive community. Start telling the truth that a fluency like Columbine will allow you to turn a blind eye to all the things you know that are going wrong. The same kind of fluency where that man, that little boy, because he was still a child, ran over and killed, he was a college student, killed a Hispanic woman and injured members of her family, and they allowed him to go home, and we dubbed it affluency. That is what's wrong with this country.
Or the white kid that killed at that Black Lives Matter rally.
Right. Yeah, that little boy. And a Dylan
got
Roof.
off.
And we are allowing this. The history is repeating itself because, you know what, we didn't tie this thing up in a bow. So here's how we can fix
agree.
it.
We felt like education and jobs fixed our problems, and
Well,
that
and
we
we
were
were
no
accepted.
longer. Yeah,
They started inviting us to their homes, to their Christmas parties. We were accepted. We have not finished the work, but here's a little girl that's getting it done. Go ahead and run the clip. We got to equip our children because you know what? They've got to be able to tell it.
My name is Mayana Taminga. I am 13 years old. I've lived in Grand Rapids almost my whole life. I'm going to say it again. I'm 13 years old. All of you are adults. Adults, right? You can drive, you can drink, you can vote. I don't have that. When I asked my mom if I could be dropped off here, her response was, "Is it safe? Is it safe?" You know, we had someone come up here and talk, and don't teach our children to disobey those who are protecting us. I don't see them protecting me. If you want to talk about those protecting me, I look to those who are standing right now because my trust isn't in them. I don't trust any of you. I don't trust any of the police officers because you have shown time and time again that we cannot trust you. I go to City High Middle School, just voted the top high school in the state. You know what they teach us? Teach us to speak up for yourself. We're IB learners, right? We're smart. None of you are smart. None of you can recognize murderers. You can identify that there is a problem, but you cannot fix it. I don't know much about the law. Again, I'm young, but I'm pretty sure an accomplice to a murder should be arrested. And right now, all of you sitting and doing nothing are accomplices to a murder.
Please refrain from the additional commentary. If you could let her finish.
I am sorry. They are fine. I'm still allowing to speak.
Go ahead. Please, go ahead.
I am frustrated, and frustrated can't even begin how absolutely terrified I am to live here. I'm expected to raise my kids here. I'm expected to go outside and walk my 5-year-old little brother. God forbid we look too scary. God forbid he accidentally is wearing his hood and we get the police called on us because we are window shopping to go steal later. I don't want to keep coming here. Trust me, this is not how I want to spend my night. I don't want to come here. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to have to beg you to stop killing people. That's not what I want to do. I have friends. I have other things that I could be doing, and I'm sitting in front of a group of adults who think murder is okay. And you can't sit here and tell me you don't think murder is okay because you're allowing it to happen. If you want to talk about God, you want to talk about Jesus, I'm a Christian. I don't know what God some of these people believe in, but it sure ain't mine. I have never read in the Bible where he said we should allow the people who are supposed to be protecting us kill us. I'm sorry, maybe I missed that scripture though. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Please, please do not make me sit here and scream another name. Do not sit here and make me beg. And God forbid that name is mine. God forbid that name is any of these people. God forbid. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is from the Congo, 13 years old. She is telling you everything that we said. She just summed it up.
And I've been to Grand Rapids, and I promise you, I feel like it is the real life story of Get Out.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Oh my
I
God.
can see that.
I
can
felt like
absolutely see
I
that.
was
Yeah.
like wanting to tap everybody black, like Get Out.
Yes.
And that's Bessie DuVos. That's her whole legacy.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Grand-
Oh yeah. And
the
so-
one who was supposed to make a great change in education. During
She
the
couldn't spell education because we continue to put people in place that we can tell what to do. So that the powers that be, the 1%ers, the whoever you want to call them, everybody got a name, they want puppets. And I do think that's true. I mean, I think the president does not have as much power as the chief of staff.
Okay.
So we need to start equipping our children to speak out and to be unapologetic when they do. We need to tell them to be unabashed and unashamed, because that is the only way that we can move forward, because we were told that we need to just do good in school, get a good job, keep your head down, don't make no noise. Well, look where that got us, because that got us, let's roll the cape up of Herschel Walker.
That got us Herschel Walker.
Hey, Bonner Roger, it's CNN.
I know.
Can I ask you, do you support any new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
Do what now?
Do you support new gun laws in the wake of this Texas shooting?
What I like to do is see it and everything and stuff. I like to see it and everything.
My favorite New Jersey
Thank
joke.
you.
Walker said he cannot spell MGM backwards. So you know they got this token darky up here so that they can just move forward with whatever they trying to do, because they needed a token Negro, and this fool
And he
showed
is
up.
running against.
Yeah, this fool is running
against another black man.
He's running against Warnock. Warnock, who left his church to represent us, and it was put in place by the Atlanta WNBA team. And the reason that girl left the WNBA and decided to be a political activist is because she didn't like the fact that the owner of the WNBA team she played for in Atlanta was pursuing a Donald Trump Republican Party. That is what happened to put Warnock in place. So what did Donald Trump do? He went and plucked Herschel out of wherever little, I don't know, white rock he was under, and set him up there. And that man said, are you a proponent of gun laws? And he said, well, I like to do, I like to see it. See, I want to see it and everything. I want to see it. You want to see gun laws? Or you want to see us shoot it?
He doesn't know what proponent means.
I don't even know if that man used that word. I just think this is, this country is stuck on stupid.
Well, and then you have to know when you are being used and what you're being used for. You have to recognize that. Because let me say this. The first time Donald Trump used Herschel Walker, he went under just like that, the new football league, the National Football League Donald Trump was trying to create, went under. That went bankrupt, and so did he. So now you go back to what has always been a great failure for you?
But when you are conditioned to step and fetch it, to Bojangles your way on out of here, that is what you do. All right, we're gonna leave it there. We are going to try to heal from this. Look to young children, like the 13-year-old Congolese girl, because that is where our healing lies. All right, before we get out of here, Lola, your love life.
Well, I went on this date. Nice guy. I won't say his name, but anyway, he was
because that I messed up before.
Okay, nice guy, and the date actually ended up turning into like a business agreement because he had some stuff he was trying to do, and he was asking me, what does a publicist do and all this stuff, and I was explaining to him, and he was like, okay, he was like, I wasn't expecting to make a business deal, right? I was really expecting, because he wanted
a love connection, but he got networking. Okay, all right.
Either we're gonna make a love connection or we're gonna make some money.
Well,
and I'm here for it. So
can you do both?
Yeah, we can. So he was flying in because he doesn't live here. So he was flying in. He was like, I'm gonna be honest. I thought I was gonna get you a little tipsy and we just kind of turn up and have a great night. I was like, well, no, I'm not gonna do a one night stand with a stranger that doesn't live here.
Because monkeypox is out there and it's sexually transmitted.
Yes. And so, and it ended up turning into a business deal. So he does a lot of investing, and
so he's going to pay you.
Yeah. So because I was like, I don't do anything of this stuff for free. I don't even play for free. So
tricks are for kids, silly rabbit.
And so he was like, okay. So he has he did some stuff with Bun B and what is his name? He's from Dallas too. I should know it. Another rapper, and I was explaining like this is how you have to move forward. And so we're in the process of getting this whole Bun B project off the ground
that's
for him.
wonderful.
So I thought that was really cool.
But is he cute?
Yeah, no, he's nice
That's
looking.
why she moved away from the love connection and moved right on to the business networking, because he didn't tickle her fancy.
But here's the thing about intentionally dating. I am being more confident. For Coy's birthday, we went and watched the game last night, and it was a very nice looking gentleman sitting next to me. He definitely had some fans there who were
workers. They were the help.
And
he know what side his bread is buttered on, because he wasn't trying to mess that up. He want them drinks to keep coming, because when she rang up that check, it was not what it was supposed to be. Understand?
At all. And
me and my crew peeped that.
And so
But he was interested in Lola.
Yeah, because he gave me a hug.
And it was weird. He hugged you like he knew you, but that was to send a message to them. And so I said, we're going to go back there, because we're going to mess up that drink tab, honey, or we're going to get on it. One way or another, we're going back.
And so they kept calling his name real nice, and so I was like, hi, Jason, or whatever his name was. And so what I've noticed is that because I like to be pursued. I really do like to be pursued. And so since I like to be pursued, and the waiting method is not just sitting there waiting, but opening the door or giving them a shot by letting them know, hey, I want you to pursue me.
Right, that you're interested.
So it's been that has been really fun. So I mean, it's May, and I mean we're almost in June, and I ain't locking nobody down. Nobody's locked me down yet, but I'm very hopeful.
Well, cuddling season is late fall, early winter. That's cuddling season.
Yeah.
So
So it's been really fun. But yes, I love the fact that a date turned into a business dinner. That was kind of cool.
Okay. Well, I guess it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So I was there. I saw the guy. He was a nice looking guy, and I made a point to make sure that Lola, because she came a little later, that she would be able to sit by him. Like I intentionally did that.
And I knew she did, because I was like, this brother got his leg all on this. Excuse me.
Yeah. I did that intentionally. I was so blatant about it. The other people that were with me before Lola got there were like, what you doing? Like, they kind of peep game, but I was like, okay, this I'm trying to help, because I swiped up, right, left, forward, so I messed that up. So I'm, this is payback. I'm trying
to. I meet a friend or a friend of hers that I'm getting to know, I think, has reached out. So and he's very nice. So I mean, they'll talk. This is the only thing about this online dating is because it's, texting through an app, right?
Yeah.
And so as you're texting through an app, though, what becomes annoying is how long we going to text before we, because if I'm responding, there's enough conversation to be interesting. So that is what, because, I like to get
well, you know what I say that when dating, if somebody's constantly texting, and because I'm 50, so I have said you must date a lot of young girls, and many of them will be like, oh no, and I said, well, why are you still texting? Because old people talk on the phone. Mm-hmm. Oh, I can talk, and so there's this idea that that's how you communicate. And I don't want to have a full text message conversation. I get bored. I start watching TV. I forgot you text me. I'm not the person you do that with.
Now I have noticed guys who are recently divorced. Mm-hmm. They're very open, real fast. Like tell you about their divorce and what they're looking for. That would scare me away. Don't nobody want to be in your business like that. So yeah, because I'm not gonna say I don't know her to have an opinion. So things like that. But it's been a journey, and I'm still trucking along, but I am excited about all the things that are coming through for this. So stay tuned, guys.
Stay tuned. We'll do it again next week, same bat time, same bat channel. This is Coy and Lola of Black Tea Sip with Lola's Love Life. And all right, y'all try to enjoy yourselves. Be safe this holiday weekend, and we'll see you soon. Diamonds, Pearls, and